We talk so much about the skill players heading into Super Bowl 46, but this week on Hot Reads, I asked Troy Aikman for one guy on the line that would make a big difference in this game.
Yeah, there's one guy who kind of jumps out at me, and I would say Jason Pierre-Paul, the young defensive end for the New York Giants, who's really had an outstanding season. He played well the last time these two teams met. He had a sack in that game. Of course, he's had a great year, and he's done things that I think people anticipated that he would be able to do when he was drafted. I just don't know that they thought it would happen as soon as it has because he's such a young player. He hasn't played a lot of football, but I would expect him to have an impact in this game, and certainly for the Giants that will be important if they're going to be able to win this game. But based on what he was able to do the last time, the way that he's played throughout this year and even in the postseason, I expect him to be a disruptive force in this game.
Yeah, he's certainly a specimen, Jason Pierre-Paul. Talk to me about the coaching staffs and preparing for this game. You've got a couple weeks to prepare. Obviously, there is some distraction. Very accomplished coaching staff. So we think a lot about the matchups on the field, but then there's the matchups on the sideline. And is it possible that one coach could figure something out that will give his players an advantage over the other team, or does it come down to really talent and performance on the field? In other words, can one team kind of out-scheme or out-game plan the other team in this kind of ball game?
Well, both these guys are excellent coaches, as we know. They're both familiar with each other. They both served on the same staff under head coach Bill Parcells there with the Giants many years ago. They know what each other wants to do. Here's what happens in a game like this. We've seen it from Bill Belichick over the years, but he's become somewhat famous for it, but other coaches do it as well. It's just that Bill's a little bit more willing to do things that maybe open him up for scrutiny than some other coaches are. And that's one of the reasons why I've respected him over the years. But you can be certain that both of these teams are going to have some kind of new wrinkle, whether it be defensively, in some kind of scheme, some kind of blitz, or whether it's offensively with a different personnel package, or they'll show a formation that maybe they haven't shown before, or maybe they'll show a formation to where they've been heavy doing one thing and then they'll do something else out of that. And that's done for a couple of reasons. It's done, one, in order to change momentum. If you're a team that's struggling a little bit and you're trying to get something going, maybe you call up, one of these offensive plays to get a big play down the field, or defensively you call one of these blitzes in order to, change the momentum, or you do it to try to just stop an impeding or an impending scoring drive. You do something like that defensively with a blitz. There will be those situations, but at the end of the day, the things that will win this game aren't going to be anything that was new, that was put in. It's really going to be fundamental football. It's going to be blocking and tackling, and as I said a little bit earlier, the teams that don't beat themselves. Before you can win, you got to keep from losing. And the teams that I was a part of, when we won those 3 Super Bowls, in those 3 games, we turned the ball over just 3 times. So we averaged 1 turnover in each of the Super Bowl games that I was a part of. Our opponent, on the other hand, turned the ball over 15 times. And I think if you look back at the games that have been won and lost in the Super Bowls or in big games, championship games, AFC, NFC championship games, you'll see teams that really never gave themselves a chance to win because they couldn't keep from losing because of them not protecting the football and really doing the things that they had done so well throughout the season.
Did Leon's fumble, does that count as a turnover? Was that counted as a turnover?
That counted. Yeah, that was one of them. So we probably shouldn't count that, but that was one of the 3, Tom.
That's funny. All right, Troy, last question. I got to ask you for your pick in this Super Bowl, Super Bowl 46. Who do you see walking away with the Vince Lombardi trophy here? I've been asked that one a lot, and I would tell you that I'm very familiar with the Giants because we cover them a lot throughout the season. We had this first matchup between these two teams going into Foxborough and winning that game. Not easy to do. I think that in a game like this, more times than not, you look at the quarterbacks and you say, okay, which quarterback do you like? And Tom Brady is usually a guy that you say, hey, I like this guy over whoever it is that's playing opposite of him. But I've admired the way that Eli Manning has played throughout this year. I've respected the way that he's played throughout the postseason. And I think looking at this game on a neutral surface, teams are both experienced with their core players having played in Super Bowl. I like the New York Giants in this game. I think they're the most complete team. But as we all know, with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, they're hard to bet against. And that's why I just think it's going to be another epic game between these two teams. and I can't wait to watch it come Sunday.
All right, the New York Giants. We'll see what happens. Listen, Troy, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate the insight this week.
Thanks, Tom.